Jack, do you want to say something to Grandpa and Grandma? What? Are you sure?
I ate all my sausage. Can you love them? Do you love Grandma and Grandpa? I ate all my water. I ate all my sausage. Can I have one?
So when we were in the Lake District, what was one of your favorite memories with Grandma
When
and
we
Grandpa?
ate the dinner at that place,
Which place?
the Queen's Inn or something.
Oh, okay. Like at the pub?
Yeah, the pub.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite memories of Grandma and Grandpa?
Mom coming down here. And probably Thanksgiving and family reunions and stuff.
Yeah? All right, if you were Grandma and Grandpa, how would you celebrate?
Go to the beach and invite everyone.
What wishes do you have for Grandma and Grandpa on their anniversary?
To have the best day ever. Love you! Mwah.
I love you very much, Grandma and Grandpa, and I hope you have a very good anniversary.
I love you.
I went down to your aunt's house.
Okay, hold on. All right, what's one of your favorite memories of Grandma and Grandpa?
The first time we ever went down to your aunt's house and went swimming, that was really fun. Enjoyed that a lot.
Okay, if you were Grandma and Grandpa, how would you celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary?
I'd go out and party. I mean, it only comes around once. Might as well.
What kind of partying?
Go clubbing. Have some fun. You guys are still young.
What wishes do you have for Grandma and Grandpa on their anniversary?
I wish you guys safe travels for the rest of your year because I know you guys love traveling a lot and I hope we get to see you a lot more. So please come visit us. It's very boring without you guys here.
All right, anything else to add?
Just love you guys lots and hope you guys have many more anniversaries to come. Congratulations.
Perfect.
I hope you have many more years of marriage and happiness and enjoy your anniversary today.
So what did you make with Grandma when you were stitching?
We made a green dinosaur with yellow spikes.
All right. If you were Grandma and Grandpa, how would you celebrate your 50th wedding anniversary?
I would probably celebrate it by seeing all of my children and then seeing all my grandchildren and then just having a giant feast and, hanging out with relatives.
Yeah?
It's relatively fun. Okay,
Where'd you learn that joke?
right here.
Okay. What wishes do you have for Grandma and Grandpa on their anniversary?
I wish you a very well anniversary. And I also wish that you, I wish that you have a good time.
All right.
Happy anniversary!
My wish for Grandma and Grandpa is that they will never divorce or split up.
My favorite memory of Grandma and Grandpa is not really memory, but I'm still gonna count it, is how every time they visit us, they bring cherry tomatoes because I love to eat them. And they're usually gone by the time they leave. So, if I was Grandma and Grandpa, I don't know, today I'd just be enjoying it. I'd be grateful. Maybe go golfing. And my wishes is to just keep on keeping on.
What do I love about Mom and Dad? There are so many things, and it's almost hard to know where to start, so I'll probably just start big. One of the things I love the most about them is their sense of generosity. They gave so much to us, their time, their youth, which is pretty priceless. So thank you for that, Mom and Dad. And many things. I mean, they fed us, they clothed us, they continued to take care of us after we were adults. You know, they just help us and helped us in so many ways. And it just kind of comes from this sense of generosity where they give, they don't expect anything in return. They're glad about it. And that's incredible, especially, you know, after having known a lot of people in the world. It's just it's kind of amazing, actually. The thing that I love the most about Mom and Dad, and that I probably took the most from them, is their sense of communication, their style of communication, the way they always communicated with one another and with us so respectfully. That's awesome, and it's rare to have kind of this constantly civilized type of conversation where you don't belittle others, you don't put them down, you take their feelings and their emotions seriously. You have a great sense of humor, but you know where the lines are, and that's not easy. And so I love that about Mom and Dad. I always have, and continue to. And just honestly, as a kid, the sense of security that they provided me in a world that's always moving, that's never easy, that's always has security problems of some sort, just being able to feel safe and loved and fall asleep at night, knowing that things were going to be okay, that was huge. So I love that. Thank you, Bob, for that, Mom and Dad.
One of my favorite memories of Dad is playing basketball at our house in Atchison. And I just remember playing, just shooting hoops for hours, it would feel like, and Dad rebounding for me, and not really giving me any advice, but just being there to play and support me. And one of my favorite memories of Mom is actually recently when we were discussing the stock market and doing puzzles and things like that. And I think that was a point when I realized how like you I am, and it was really exciting, and it was just fun to spend time with you as adults, and it was just really cool.
Hey Grandma and Grandpa, hope everything's going well. Happy anniversary. And just, you know, some of my best memories, I think, were definitely Christmas morning, just waking up with all the family and you know, going down 6 flights of stairs to see the Christmas tree, and just full of joy and happiness. And if it was me, how would I celebrate? Or I think you guys should celebrate, say, skydiving or bungee jumping. I think both of you would have a great time with that. And I just wish you guys happy time, a great time to everyone can get the family together again, and just have a wonderful time together. Thank you. Have a great anniversary. Love you.
What would you like to say to Pat and Anna?
Pat and Anna, I would like to say congratulations on being married for 50 years, living a very successful life, raising a beautiful family, and just being wonderful people.
What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for being able to call you my mother and father-in-law, and for you bringing Maddie into this world so that I could... That threw me off. Can we start over?
Hello. When I think of Grandma and Grandpa, I think of roof ball and Christmas and Easters and Thanksgivings all at the house together with lots and lots of food and lots of cuddles and having a nice time together. And I think of getting texts from Grandma with a lot of emojis. I think of writing them letters because I know that they enjoy getting them. And I think of how they're a great piece of my life that can show me what love is really like. So, happy 50th anniversary, Grandma and Grandpa.
All right, 3 words to describe Dad. I think there are a lot of words that one could use to describe Dad, most of them good. One of the first ones I thought of was humble. I also thought of stubborn, but I'll pass on those. And so the 3 that I ultimately ended up with were compassionate, thoughtful, and leader. Compassionate just because Dad is compassionate. One of the things that he always taught us was to love others, to give others the benefit of the doubt, even those who at first glance didn't seem like maybe they deserved the benefit of the doubt. So I always appreciated that about Dad. His thoughtfulness, at least at home, maybe just for me, but it's almost legendary. He just was kind of constantly aware of others, even though he quite often claimed otherwise. But Dad just always and continues to strike me as an immensely thoughtful person. The last word, leader, I say that because for me, the 2 essential qualities of a leader are trustworthiness and an ability to communicate well. And Dad embodies both of those. He's one of the most trustworthy people I know, and taught me and many people, I think, just so much about communication. So that's me for Dad.
3 words that encapsulate my dad: Shakespeare, rude, and gangster. Shakespeare, because he always had this Shakespeare hat that he would wear, which when we were playing wiffle ball out in the back, he put send his special stuff down with the wiffle ball, and I'd always try to hit it. And then, of course, I learned later on that Shakespeare was, of course, a wonderful playwright and poet. So that was that is sort of a pillar for me that reminds me of my dad. Rude, that's the Rude song. We'll have to sing it for you. Rude, 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 rude is air conditioning. It always makes me think of my dad and his silliness and his willingness to entertain us. And gangster because Dad's been shot, and he's, as far as I know, the only one in our family that's got that kind of street cred.
Okay, you got your giggles out?
Kind of.
Okay. What is one of your favorite memories of Grandma and Grandpa?
For Grandpa, probably when it was your guys' wedding day, and I came up to him with a flower, and he's I don't know where we were sitting. I think it was a bench. And Grandma's probably when we stitched my first embroidery stitching, or it just felt so interactive.
What did you make the first time?
We made.
Okay, put it out there.
Hold
on, stop.
Happy anniversary, Pat and Anna. We hope you have a beautiful day celebrating, and we're very excited to celebrate with you. Thank you for raising such a beautiful son, who is a wonderful husband for me and for our children, for being such an example of love and family and communication, for being such wonderful grandparents to our children. And we just wish you all the love. And again, thank you for raising such a wonderful son yourself, who is videotaping me shirtless at the moment because he just exercised. Yay.
Hey there, I'm Luke. I'm the 3rd son. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. Congratulations on making it to the halfway point, and thanks so much for bringing all of us along on the journey. We've got a list of questions here, things that we've been reflecting on here. I've been reflecting on some of my favorite memories of you guys, center around 2 really, really different things. A lot of them are rooted in travel, where we've been, going to Scotland. I have this great memory of being in Maine and cooking lobsters at Katie's house, the Grand Canyon, trips west, riding to Crater Lake with Annabelle and Joe, and having those things that you drug us along were just so fantastic and formative for us. But as I've aged, the things that I've drawn on mostly are my memories from home, doing the things that you did every day to run a household, cooking dinners, keeping the yard clean, shopping, doing laundry, learning to relax, how to celebrate, those little things that happen every single day that now I'm doing. Now my favorite things to see is watching you with my kids, playing with them, running around in the yard, just holding them, and then seeing you to enjoy retired life together is a great model for what I look forward to, hopefully, as I survive the gulag that I'm traveling through right now. As I think about 3 words to describe you, I had the 3 same words that kept coming up for both of you. For me, they've always been loving, hardworking, and independent. The model of love between the 2 of you has just been absolute. And both of you modeled working in the house and jobs, how you manage that, how you juggle that every day, which is a thing that I am reflective of and lean on, especially in my current situation. The independence that each of you had from where you grew from, how you grew up, how you found each other, how you raised all of us. It's just been fantastic. What impacts have you had on my life? I think this is a great question because it's like innumerable, indescribable, just about everything. I've tried to narrow this down to something that basically every single day I find myself practicing things that I learned from each of you, even without realizing that I was learning them at the time or that I'm implementing them now. As a parent, as a husband, as a human on earth, as a human on a spiritual journey, kind of the model of excellence that each of you have been for each of us can't really be quantified. What I love about mom and dad, I get everything, like whatever. The thing that I am more drawn to, especially as I've aged and seen other adults around me go, a thing that I've been appreciative more every day is that I've never ever seen either of you fight with each other. I know in a marriage, it's not always sunshine and roses, but the model of love, commitment, maturity that the 2 of you have brought to your relationship with each other and reflected down to us is something that I try and emulate every single day of my life. What am I grateful for when it comes to mom and dad? Everything, again, life, education, love and support constantly from day one. Probably a thing that is in our lives, each of our individual lives, that I took for granted probably more as a young person, but understand better now, is really the independence to chase where the spirit and our own love leads us. As a parent, I can't imagine how hard it must be. You just want to hold your children as close as you can every possible second of every possible day, but also know that the best thing for them is to go and exist wherever they're called to be. The 2 of you have done that so well for each of us and given us the permission really to live the lives that we're called to live, even at personal heartache, is something that is just, it's something that I'm grateful for, what that you've done for us. So I love you very much, and I'm so grateful to be one of your children and be surrounded by my siblings, and the relationship that we've been able to hold from thousands of miles apart is a direct testament to how we were raised and how we were all built together. So thank you. Happy anniversary. Much love from all of us out here, and congratulations.
If I was grandma and grandpa, I would celebrate by going somewhere where they like to go.
Happy anniversary, Pat and Anna. Thank you for raising such a wonderful man that I get to go through life with. We're coming up on 25 here, so we're looking to catch ya.
If I had to describe mom in 3 words, it would be loving, committed, and spicy. She's one of the kindest people I've ever met, and it's a genuine kindness, not a forced or fake kindness where she talks out of both sides of her mouth. So that's something that I still try to do. It takes some time to master. I'm not there yet, unfortunately. And then I say that she's kind of spicy because, she's got a way of sort of doing the right thing and, but also breaking the rules when the rules need to be broken, and I love that.
Happy anniversary, Grandma and Grandpa.
When I think of Mom, 3 of my favorite words that I would use to describe her are loving, creative, and farmer. And the loving one maybe seems obvious, but it's not. To love is so complex. It's super simple and complicated all at the same time. And Mom loved me and loved all of us so well in so many different ways. Just the way she took care of us, the kindness that she showed when we were hurt, especially to a boy like me who wanted to be tough, but just wasn't, because most boys aren't when they're young. So it took a lot of love from Mom to get me through, and I really appreciated that. Creative, Mom is creative in so many ways. As an artist, she would paint, she would take pictures, she would cook. There's just the way she saw the world was wonderful. Her garden, her flowers, everything like that was very creative. And finally, farmer. When a lot of people say farmers, you immediately think of a man in overalls, but I think of Mom, and it has nothing to do with overalls. It just has to do with a sense of practicality of making use of everything that you have, of kind of watching the rhythm of the land, paying attention to the weather, and of course, where she grew up and where we spent a lot of our time as kids had a lot to do with that too. So that's my thoughts from Mom. So when we were in Sedona, what was one of your favorite memories from that time with Grandma and Grandpa?
It was when we first arrived in Sedona and Grandma and Grandpa were waiting there for us, and they'd already had a bunch of stuff there, and they welcomed us very warmly.
So some things for which I am grateful to my parents. The first is cooking. I'm just going to lump Mom and Dad together for all of these. So cooking is something that Mom would always say, if you can read, you can cook, which I thought was cool. And she showed me all sorts of things. I remember grinding relish with a big grinder in the kitchen, making applesauce, made all sorts of eggs, of course, and caramel popcorn, just all sorts of things, anything she could dream up. Cream puffs are one of my favorites. And with Dad, it was always nice to go out and grill. We would go out and fire up the charcoal grill and have 15 or 20 minutes just to sit around, take a stick and scrape off the grill. And it was where I first developed my love and passion for cooking things over fire. And it was a great time spent with my dad as well. So certainly enjoyed that. Another thing for which I'm grateful to my parents is singing and expression of joy. Mom was always good at singing and inspired me with going around singing songs. And Dad always would sing silly songs and change the words to things and make things funny. And I still love to do both of those things. I love to sing and try to get the notes right and everything. But I also love to sing, get the notes wrong and the words wrong just because it's funny. And I think the third thing for which I'm really grateful to Mom and Dad is the passion for seeking and exploration. So not only traveling, they would take us all over the place on vacations and always stop and check out things that were interesting. Really love that. But also seeking within books and poetry and within the less literal and physical things in the world. They go in and dive into books or dive into even some pictures, to art, just to see what you could find within those. So for all of these things, I am grateful.
Okay, more favorite memories. A lot of my favorite memories involved traveling, involved destinations. It wasn't necessarily around the house type of things, but when we would go to the West Coast or the East Coast or North or South, or even to grandparents' house in Iowa and in Kansas, that was great. Just to be on the road, to be moving, to be watching the world go by, was intense. And I think, I mean, obviously it shaped me. I still love to travel today. I'm not going to say that they turned me into a gypsy, but I loved Mom and Dad's sense of adventure, and I loved their desire to see new places and all the new places that they took us to, just to see mountains and oceans and these big broad plains and these forests and these cities, and to see it all together, even if every once in a while we didn't travel real well, but it was rare when that happened, and usually it was my fault. But it was amazing. And so just the way that they broadened my world and broadened our world by showing us the world. Oh, wow. Just excellent. It was excellent.
I'm grateful for everything when it comes to Mom and Dad. I've been through a lot, you know, times that were hard for me, especially like during my divorce, where I didn't know how I was gonna pay my rent or get my kids to daycare. And they were there for me, and they really showed no judgment and gave me all the support that I needed. And I know that's a privilege, and not everybody has that. So that's one of the things I'm most grateful for, as well as just being a good example of how to be a parent and how to love our kids through all of the ups and downs and the joys and frustrations that they give us. So I'm just grateful that, you know, I've been blessed with such wonderful people in my life to be an example and support. And they also gave me 3 pretty good brothers and 3 awesome sisters-in-laws, so I'm happy for that as well.
I love you, Grandma and Grandpa.
My favorite memory of Grandma was singing in the car in the Lake District, and my favorite memory with Grandpa was going on a walk with him and Dad in the moors in the Lake District as well. Happy anniversary, guys. I love you very much and can't wait to see you this summer.
What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for... Now I'm all thrown off. Start over.
Happy anniversary.
Daddy, did you video my funny cartoon?
Okay, favorite memories involving Mom and Dad. This is strange. If you asked me on any given day, I would probably give you a different answer. But today is a semi-cloudy day in Belgium. There's a little bit of sun out, and so Spirit is moving me differently. One of my favorite memories with Mom, actually most of my favorite memories with Mom today, or many of them, on this particular day involve when I was very small. And I remember things like when she would make homemade donuts in the kitchen in Leavenworth. And just the joy I felt about that, and the excitement and the magic of seeing these donuts go from like batter into these actual baked things that smelled so good and tasted so good. And it was early in the morning. It may have been a school day even, and I just remember thinking it was miraculous just to be there with her and to have that happen. And then I remember summer days wearing a yellow Spider-Man tank top and running around in the backyard and knowing that Mom was in the house, and lemonade was involved, and it was incredible. And so today, many of my favorite memories with Dad, or some of them, involve car rides with him. And this is when I was older, a late teenager, 16, 17, 18. And I would tag along with Dad to Iowa or to Minnesota or just to wherever. And it was great. We would ride in the car and it would be silent for a while. We'd listen to the radio for a while, and then we'd start talking about one thing or another. I don't think it was any hardcore philosophizing, although it could have been. It's us, so it's very possible that was what was happening. But I think a lot of it was about sports and about life. And at that point, I just remember feeling good, just loving the sound of Dad's voice and just soaking in what he was talking about, the things that he was saying. And at the time I didn't think of it this way, but in retrospect, just my ability to kind of grasp it and to comprehend it and to be able to talk back to Dad in some kind of engaging fashion, it was thrilling, actually. It was just so amazing. But just to have that time, with each of them, kind of me and them in those places was great.
All right, as I look back on my 25 years with the Carney family, a couple of fun memories. Pat, I'll never understand the way you hold an infant. It was always one hand on the bottom and one hand on the head, but always away from your body. It terrified me as a young mom. We'll still have to follow up on why we're doing this. I always wanted you to hug them in tight and you should be up against your body. But Jeremy assured me that it would be okay and you weren't going to drop any of them, and that worked out. Pat, when you came to visit, I knew I was going to get a break from TJ. You were very good at checking out the situation and knowing you're going to put him in a stroller and the two of you were going to walk. You were going to walk until you couldn't walk anymore and he fell asleep. But I just knew I was going to get a little break from the one that made me run around the most, be most terrified that he was going to be finding trouble. But you would grab TJ right away, and I knew that that was how you were most helpful. You also have a way of finding the seat in the room, usually in the kitchen, the table, in the very back corner. I used to think it was because you were going to get out of getting up and down for everybody as everybody needed something, and you kind of felt like you were out of the way. But over the years, I realized it's because you're observing the crowd. You're watching how we all interact. You're checking us all out. You're seeing how we treat each other, what everybody needs, the conversations that are going on. So you're a fantastic observer back there in the corner. Although I do think it gets you out of some of the jobs. So those are just kind of quick, fun ones. For Anna, you and I had a day just after Haley arrived. And I was a frantic young mom who couldn't figure it out that day. Both the girls needed me. Both the girls were crying. Once I fixed one, the other one needed something. I was just after Haley's arrival. I said, so I was still just figuring out that. And nobody had called me mom yet because neither of the girls were talking at the time. But you and I thought that we were going to go out for the day. And I just was freaking out, and you kind of stopped me and looked at me and told me to just take a deep breath and that I was in charge. I'll tell you what, nobody ever told me I was in charge before. But we were able to pack the girls up and get out for a little bit. It was probably the first time I had taken Haley really out of the house and tried to figure out how to navigate that whole situation. But I often remember that. You were always in the kitchen, and the kids always knew that they could get some chocolate cake coming their way if Grandma and Grandpa were going to stop by. They always knew that there was some cookies coming too. And they always wanted to be up at the stools to be able to cook with you.
Happy anniversary, Grandma and Grandpa.
What is your favorite memory of hanging out with Grandpa and Grandma?
What does that mean?
What's your favorite memory of hanging out with Grandpa and Grandma?
Grandma and Grandpa days.
What kind of things do you do in your Grandma and Grandpa days?
Oh. Go on the carousel.
Oh, go on the carousel? I love it. Is there anything else you'd like to say to Grandpa and Grandma?
I love you.
Say it.
I love you.
See you soon.
Yes.
Hey, Hunter. What's your favorite memory of Grandma and Grandpa? Oh, yeah? If you were Grandma and Grandpa, what would you do on your anniversary? Is there anything else you want to say? Why are you so grumpy about it? Such a diva.
If you could wish one or two cool things for Grandma and Grandpa for their anniversary, what would you wish for them?
I would wish for them to have an amazing anniversary, of course, and I'd also wish for them to have fun.
Except for that this is the finish, and it's that Grandma and Grandpa sprout wings and shrink to fairy size and sprinkle fairy dust all over us so we have good luck.
What are you thankful for?
I am thankful to be able to call you my mother and father-in-law, and for you to have brought Maddie into this world so that we could be together.
What is one of your best memories involving Pat and Anna?
Oh, there's so many good ones. Can I do it on an individual level?
Yeah.
I would say the best memory that I have one of the best memories that I have of your dad is Pat is the time that I got the chance to ask him to marry you, and how happy he seemed to be with that. So, and then with Anna, again, lots of really great memories, but just kind of, I would say the one that kind of like sticks out the most is last year we went on our vacation to the Ozarks, taking her on a boat ride. She seemed to really enjoy that, and spending time with the kids and that whole thing. So.
All right, anything else you'd like to say?
Really looking forward to the 50th wedding anniversary party. Can't wait to get down there and see you guys. Love you very much. It's been truly amazing to be part of this family. So thank you for that, and I love you.
My favorite memory of Grandma and Grandpa is when we went to Crater Lake together. I liked this because Grandma was very afraid of the hills, and I was very sad when we left, but when I look back on it, it's funny.
So, 3 words that I think describe Mom. I picked mushrooms, bullhead, and books. Mushrooms, because she always took me mushroom hunting, and that's something that stayed with me throughout my entire life. Something that I just that I'm passionate about, and I thank her for. Bullhead, because I always went fishing. I always remember my mom being there, and Grandma too, and learning how to fish. And bullhead are still my favorite. I don't find them in a restaurant very often. I don't know if I ever have, but always makes me think of my mom. And then books. I remember as a child always being at the library, going through the stacks, looking at all of the wonderful books and how exciting and inspirational they were. And whenever I walk in the stacks in the library, it makes me think of my mom.
If I had to describe Dad in 3 words, it would be patient, loving, and a little eccentric. Dad taught me early on to try to manage my emotions in better ways than I was at the time, and that, I tend to just knee-jerk reaction wise. And so he really taught me that it's good to lean in and own what you're feeling and then deal with it in a healthy way. And I, now having kids that play sports, I remember him sitting in the stands at our basketball games and just being silent. And I know now how difficult that really is. And so I try to remember to be like Dad in those moments and not yell stupid things like give that girl some chowder at my children when they're up to bat. But I try to, take the lesson and leave those details.
My favorite memory of Grandma and Grandpa is throwing toys over Grandpa's couch and them hitting him on the head.
So I think my favorite memory of Mom was, this must have been like 1980, or early 1985 or something, because I remember her being pregnant with probably Luke. And we were in Jackson County. The cattle had gotten out, and we were trying to corral them. And at one point, they kind of all turned and stampeded. And Mom was out there, pregnant and trying to corral the cattle. They were all running past her, and I remember just being genuinely afraid that she was going to be trampled. But it was sort of a very striking memory of her being out there helping the family with the cattle that had gotten out. But it was very impactful for me. My favorite memory of Dad is somewhere on, must have been, 59 or somewhere. We were driving up to St. Joe, and as I recall, it was the old car, the 50 Chevy. I could be wrong about that, but we were driving, and there was a guy walking on the side of the road. Looked like he had run out of gas or something. It was all of us in the car. I think maybe it was just the four of us at the time. And he pulled over and gave the guy a ride. I don't know if he was going to the gas station or whatever, but that must have also been around 1985, because remember, we're talking about the Royals in the World Series, and the guy was saying that he hadn't given up on them yet. But I thought that was just an interesting memory of how my dad was helping out, saw somebody in need, and jumped in to help.
If you were in Grandma and Grandpa, how would you celebrate your anniversary?
I would celebrate my anniversary by inviting family and celebrating a lot and eating cake.
Grandma and Grandpa.
Hi, Grace. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
We really mean it sincerely. So, love from
Love
all
you
of us.
guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.